Sea of Thieves has been out for 6 years and has released 40 major updates. So that's a lot of content. But today I'm going to go through each year, every update of each year, and look at what the best single feature from each year was. So that could be like gameplay addition, quality of life improvement, etc. So I'm going to go in order from 2018 to 2024 and look at the best single feature that was released that year. So keep in mind, this is just my opinion, and I'm going to kind of base it off what has had the longest lasting impact on the game, like what updates are still there today that are still fun to do and still relevant in the game, like the most impactful, meaningful feature of each year. So without further ado, let's start, and we're going to start with the best update in 2018, and honestly, there's not much here. Some years I've noticed had a lot of updates that were meaningful. Some of them didn't. 2018 is probably one that didn't. The biggest thing was probably that the game released, but we can't count that. So the best feature that was released in 2018 for Sea of Thieves, I'm going to have to go with skeleton ships. The reason I'm going with skeleton ships is that when the game released, you would rarely ever see any other players. The only time you'd ever encounter other players was on a skull fort, when the whole server would fight each other over skull forts, because that was the only thing to do. It was the only world event. But when there wasn't a skull fort, you would rarely see any other players, and the skeleton ships kind of made the game and the world feel more alive. And they're not bad to fight to this day. You get decent loot. They're still good to do, honestly, and they're an impactful feature, and they've had some changes throughout the years, but they're still a big part of Sea of Thieves today. And also, the skeleton ships indirectly introduced cursed cannonballs, and that's a big feature today. So yeah, 2018 didn't have much. Megalodons were also released in 2018. That's probably the other big thing, but they weren't like the Megalodons we know today. Those came in a later update. So I'm gonna have to go with skeleton ships for 2018. Also, a side note, I won't be doing this for every year, but the worst update of 2018 was when they added the Devil's Roar. Worst feature in the game. No one goes there. I guess it was cool for like a week when it came out, but it died out pretty quickly. Literally no reason to go there. The volcanoes are annoying. Nothing's ever happening over there. It's empty. Devil's Roar, worst part of 2018. 2019, however, is on the complete other end of the spectrum. 2019 is one of those years where we just got a ton of impactful updates. And the nice thing about 2019 is that's back when we had the monthly updates. So these updates were coming out month after month. We didn't have the seasons, so like we'd get a bunch of big updates throughout the year. The biggest ones were probably Arena, Tall Tales, Fishing was also added in 2019. We got the Reaper's Hideout and the Maiden Voyage. Those are probably the biggest ones. But I think the biggest one and the best feature for 2019 in Sea of Thieves was the Fort of the Damned. To this day, Fort of the Damned is one of the best things you could possibly do. It was a lot different back then. I remember like one of my biggest favorite memories on Sea of Thieves was when they added the Fort of the Damned. Not right when they added it, but a couple months after, during quarantine. Me and my friends were up like 3 a.m. We decided to just do the Fort of the Damned one day. We spent like 2 hours getting all the lanterns, trying to figure out how to do it, get a ritual skull. Spent like 2 hours just to set it up. Then we go there. We have to fight another crew off for like an hour, and it was just fun. We ended up winning against the other crew and doing the Fort of the Damned. It was just a good time. But anyway, Fort of the Damned, it's had some updates over the years that have made it a lot easier to do, like the Skull of Destiny, and the fact that sometimes the lanterns are already lit, so you don't have to go get them. So it's just one of the biggest things of Sea of Thieves, honestly. It's the key part of Sea of Thieves to this day, and I think it was the best feature added from 2019. 2020 was another decent year. There was actually a lot more in 2020 that came out for Sea of Thieves than I remember. And that's one of the things about looking back at all these updates. I just have a screen with all the updates that came out throughout the years. And there's a lot of stuff I forgot. But 2020, some of the biggest updates was Ashen Winds. The Ashen Winds event was introduced in 2020. Gold Hoarder Vaults were introduced in 2020. As well as Flameheart's Ghost Ships. So not the Ghost Ships event that we have today, but the original ones with Flameheart, with Flameheart's head in the sky where he was yelling at you the whole time. I know a lot of people thought that was annoying. I thought it was annoying too, but you don't realize what you have until you lose it. And that was actually kind of a fun event. But the number one feature that they added for 2020 that I think is the best was emissaries. Emissaries completely changed the way the game was played. They made it a lot easier to earn gold. There was a lot more stuff to do with it because now there were more ranks you could get, more cosmetics that came with it. And again, a lot easier to get gold. Reapers was kind of cool to do. You could steal the emissary flags from other ships by sinking them. So emissaries kind of completely changed the way the game was played. And for whatever reason, I feel like emissaries made people care about the game more, if that makes sense. Like, it was just because it made it a lot easier to go get stuff. Grinding was easier. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go with emissaries as the best feature of 2020. So 2021 is where things start to slow down. This is where they stopped monthly updates and started doing seasons. And you could definitely tell the content started to slow down. But there was actually a decent amount of stuff that came out in 2021. Pirates Life Tall Tales, Shrines and Treasuries came out. Those are kind of the big things aside from the number one thing, which I'll get to in a minute. And some smaller things like fireworks were introduced in 2021. I don't know why I thought they were introduced way before that. And the quest board was also introduced, and that's one of the most forgotten things in Sea of Thieves. So, and I mean, that's alright stuff, but this is definitely one of the weaker years in my opinion. But number one thing introduced in 2021 is the Fort of Fortune. It was the best world event to do for a long time. It's still one of the better ones to do, I guess, unless you count Fort of the Damned. But this is back when Fort of the Damned was still a little bit more difficult to start up because, getting the lanterns and ritual scroll and everything. And Fort of Fortune just had some of the best loot in the game, especially when they added the Chest of Fortune later to it. That made it even better, but we're only talking about the original Fort of Fortune, but still, it was still the best world event in the game. And even for a while after it came out, I mean, people were still fighting over it. So, 2021, I'm going to have to go with Fort of Fortune, although it is one of the weaker ones. I almost decided to put the Pirates Life Tall Tales here, because we just got the first ones. But the thing is, the Pirates Life Tall Tales were really cool when they came out. I always wanted, like, a pirate game. Like, I always wanted, like, a Pirates of the Caribbean game to, play as or with Jack Sparrow. That'd be kind of cool. But, I mean, after the first time you do the Pirates Life Tall Tales, it's like you don't really want to do them again. Like, it was a cool experience, and if you're not going for all the commendations, there's really no reason to replay them. And that's why I chose the Fort of Fortune, because that's something that still had a lasting impact on the game to this day. So now we have 2022, and in my opinion, this is the toughest year to pick a best feature. This year of Sea of Thieves 2022 was easily the best in terms of updates. There was definitely the lowest amount of new content added out of any update, or out of any year. Easily. However, the quality of the content we got was some of the best ever. I mean, just listen to this. We got sea forts. Sea forts, I don't know about you, but I love sea forts. One of my most viewed videos on my channel is about sea forts. I love sea forts. I've talked about it in a lot of my Sea of Thieves videos. I am a sea fort enjoyer. Legend of the Veil came out in 2022. The same season as Sea Forts, actually. Legend of the Veil is still one of the best things you could do if you want to earn gold. And it's also really fun. I love doing Legend of the Veil. You probably do too. Hourglass PvP. Now, I don't know about you, but I love Hourglass. See, at first, Hourglass I didn't really like. I wasn't too big into it. But the more I play it, the more I enjoy it. And it's nice to have a PvP mode that's really active. Like, Arena was fun, but it was kind of dead a little bit. That's unfortunate because it was fun. But Hourglass is a lot more competitive. The more I play it, the more fun I have with it. And then obviously, the Skeleton Curse and Ghost Curse came out with that in Season 8. And all of that is really nice. But I think the best thing in 2022, this was the hardest one to pick, by the way, but I think the best feature added in 2022 was Captaincy. Captaincy really changed how the game was played. It's just the best quality of life feature. I mean, having to bring loot to each individual trading company, I mean, I can't believe we put up with that for that long. So Captaincy really changed the flow of the game, made the game a lot faster. That's one of the game's biggest problems, is that for a while, everything you did kind of took forever, and in my opinion, selling your loot should not have been something that you dreaded doing. So I think captaincy was really nice, and also the cool thing about captaincy was all the ship customization and naming the ship and everything. But I think the best part about captaincy was easily selling stuff to the sovereigns, and I could have easily given this spot to Hourglass PvP or Sea Forts or Legend of the Veil for that matter, because those are all some of my favorite things in this game. So this is really the hardest thing, but I think if you look back, what's been the most impactful on the game, I would definitely have to say captaincy. I mean, it's just probably the best quality of life feature we've ever gotten, and this is probably the one people will disagree with the most, because there was just so much stuff that came out in 2022 that you could argue is better than captaincy. But I think if you look back at all the stuff I just mentioned, I think captaincy has had the biggest impact on the game, biggest positive impact on the game, and I think it's just easily been one of the best features we've ever gotten in the game. And now we're at 2023, which is probably the worst year for Sea of Thieves in terms of content since 2018. So in 2023, the big things we got were the Chest of Fortune, Skull of Siren Song, Safer Seas, Guilds, and I'm just going to say the Skull of Destiny, just to add another bullet point. Because honestly, the Skull of Destiny is one of the most underrated things ever added to this game. I know now you could just dive to get a Skull of Destiny, but when it was added, I mean, it was really cool. Fort of the Damned became a lot easier to do, a lot quicker to do, and like I said, Fort of the Damned was one of the best features ever added to this game. But anyway, so the Chest of Fortune, I guess it's cool, but at the end of the day, it's a piece of loot. When it was in Fort of Fortune and Fort of the Damned, people were fighting over it, but now that it's in the Fleet of Fortune, it just, you don't see the same excitement for it anymore. And that's probably because a lot of the people who wanted the full set, like the ship set and all the commendations and everything, they already got it. Or maybe it's just because no one wants to do the Fleet of Fortune, because it's not as, I think Fleet of Fortunes are fun, but I mean, they're objectively more annoying and tedious to do than the Fort of the Damned or Fort of Fortune. And as far as the Skull of Siren Song, I mean, it was cool the first couple weeks it came out. Then it kind of died off. I barely see anyone doing it now. Safer Seas, that doesn't impact me whatsoever. Maybe some people play it. I don't know too many people who play it. It's more of a new player thing. I don't think it's going to have a lasting effect on the game. Guilds are cool, but I wouldn't say they're the best feature of the year. And Skull of Destiny, again, just made Fort of the Damned easier. So it's overall a disappointing year, but I think the best thing that they added in 2023 is honestly the Harpoon update, where they made it so harpooning your loot just puts it right behind you. You don't have to manually pick it up. I think that's honestly one of the best features ever added to this game. And it kind of sucks that that's the best feature added for 2023, because it kind of shows how disappointing of a year it is. But honestly, the Harpoon update is a really underrated thing. I mean, do you guys remember how annoying it was when you were using the Harpoon and have to manually take each piece of loot off the Harpoon? Now, it's so much faster. And one of the things I'm looking at for these updates, a lot of my favorite updates in this game come from speeding the game up. And the Harpoon update really speeded the game up, much like the Captaincy update did with the Sovereigns. And this kind of goes hand in hand with that, because now when you use the Harpoons at the Sovereigns, you just harpoon everything quickly, sell it quickly, and it's great. So yeah, I think the Harpoon update was the best update of 2023 by far. And finally, we have 2024. And honestly, 2024 is looking to be like the best year of Sea of Thieves we've ever had. I mean, we've already got Season 11, which introduced a lot. You know, there's diving. You can get up to level 500 in each company, you get the rings and all the new rewards. And that's just in Season 11. But in Season 12, 13, 14, I mean, we're getting new weapons. The harpoon gun, the double barrel pistol, throwing knife. We're getting the Man of War, which I'm looking really forward to. I'm looking forward to that a lot. I've always wanted a bigger ship. And it's kind of be like a world event, and then it's like they said you kind of become the world event. You're going to be able to use harpoons, and the new harpoon gun is kind of like a zip line, like a tightrope. So that's interesting, a new way to kind of traverse the world. And what I really liked was the skeleton bomb that they're gonna add, where it's like a blunder bomb. You throw it and it makes the skeletons on your side pretty much and fight against other people. So those are all really cool things that they're gonna add. But I think the best thing that came out in 2024, the best feature, is probably diving. The reason I'm choosing diving is all the other stuff isn't actually in the game yet, and I didn't want to let that limit me. But the more I think about it, we really haven't seen how the other stuff is going to play out. But it is nice that it's coming out. But diving is probably the best thing that they've added in 2024. I mean, there's only been one big update that they've had this year, and it's been Season 11. But, I mean, diving is just one of the greatest things they've ever added. And again, it goes back to kind of what I like in updates and speeding up the game. I mean, now you could just do something really quick. Like, you just want to log on for like 30 minutes or an hour. You have time to just dive to a world event that you want to do. Go do a skull for a fleet, a vault, whatever it may be. You could just dive to it, and it's really nice. And it's not like overpowered either. It's not that you can just dive whenever you want to escape, or like dive with a ton of loot on your ship so you don't lose it. It's balanced and it's fun, and it works really well, and I think it's been a great addition to the game. But yeah, I'm looking forward to everything else 2024 has to offer, but diving, in my opinion, is the best feature for 2024. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about my picks for the best feature added in every year of Sea of Thieves. I just want to say thank you guys for watching, and if you don't mind, just hit that subscribe button and that like button, as 99.9% of people watching are not subscribed, which is crazy to think about. I also just hit 600 subscribers, so thank you guys for that. I'm on the road to 1,000. And like I said, thank you guys for watching, and let me know your guys' opinions in the comments, and let me know what you guys are excited for coming up for the future of Sea of Thieves. I'm looking forward to the future of Sea of Thieves. 2024 is looking to be a really great year, and yeah, thank you guys for watching.